Hey, what's up, good people? How you doing? Welcome back to Stock Up with Larry Jones. We got a lot to get into, so go ahead and hit that like, subscribe, and that notification bell. The market is selling off. It has been all morning, though the Dow fought its way back. It's a lot going on. Of course, we are looking at strong jobs, but we're looking at the Fed with lower interest rates. I'm sorry. We're looking at the Fed taking off of the table interest rate cuts. We're down to maybe one now. All right. We went to 5 from now, maybe 1, if that. All right, this year. So the market is real spooky. Okay. It's spooked. I actually believe I have some notes here. And I'm just going to run down everything because I don't want to miss anything that I was jotting down. We all had the jobs data last week. We could see that the job market is strong, right? Strong jobs, not so good market. Strong jobs, strong dollar, market weak. Follow strong jobs, oil spikes up, bond yield spikes up, market goes down. All right. According to consumer sentiment, there's most likely to be 1 to 0 rate cuts. We covered that. All right. There appears to be 2 things that are happening right now. All right. Listen to this, good people. 1, the market was overpriced. The market was overpriced. We got CPI data coming this week on the 15th. Consumer Price Index. So we got CPI and PPI. I believe that number 1, the market was too frothy. Number 2, the market is pricing in CPI right now. Okay. So part of that is happening because of what happened last week with the jobs. And number 3 is the Trump trade. Okay. I believe we are in a Trump trade correction. I'm going to call this Trump trade correction. So the S&P, if you would look, I'm going to bounce around here. Let's see if I could find this. So we see here that last year the election was November 5th, 2024, right? So we keep our eye on that. November 5th, 2024. So if we go to the S&P, we have to go out 6 months, and we go to right here, November 5th, 2024, we could see that we are basically right back. Actually, this morning we were down lower, but we are literally right back where we started. See that? So after the election, we were all looking good because the S&P rose by over 5%. And for those of you that think that that's little, the S&P is the top 500 companies. So that 5% move was huge for the S&P. A correction is 10%. So since the election, we had that move. And as I just showed you, we gave it all back, right? So let me take that out of the queue because I got all of these windows up. What else is happening? We got crypto. For the day, we're red, all red, not a speck of green. Red, red, red. For the day, look at that, Pepe down 10%. For the hour, it seems to have bottomed out, but that's just the hour. The day is red, the week is red, the month is red. It's just red, 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 right? And so I want to show you guys what is actually going on. I want you to zoom out and see the whole picture as Bitcoin actually dipped down into the 91K this morning. It's kind of flattening out over the hour, but for the day, we're down 2.7%. That's massive. Bitcoin is officially in a correction. Bitcoin is in a correction, being down 10%, right? And you know that when Bitcoin goes down 10%, that the alts will start to go down by 15 to 20%. See that? Boom. And then the memes will start to go down even more than the alts. I want to play you something that Tom Lee said about the market first. since we're here, we'll see what he said about Bitcoin, and then we'll come back to the stock market.
Movement in Bitcoin, say to you. So we're at 91,000. What is that? What is that a signal or a sign of anything in this sort of analysis?
Stupid Fed.
Yeah.
It's not cutting.
Yeah, Bitcoin's down roughly 15% from its highs, which for a hypervolatile asset is a pretty normal correction, and it is slightly following global liquidity, but we're pretty early in this halving cycle. So to me, I think Bitcoin in the near term, again, our technician thinks 70,000 is where we can sort of make a stand. Means you're getting a big opportunity because I think Bitcoin's going to be one of the best performing assets.
So hold on, but you still think it goes all the way down to 70,000, or you think that's the floor, in which case you would still buy at this price?
Yeah, so there's Fibonacci's. So one level would be 70.
Let's say that again.
There's retracement levels. So you pull back from where you rallied.
Right.
So 70 is one level. It could go to as low as the 50s. But that's, again, not a new level. It's just where it touches before it begins to rally.
Okay, Laura, thinking about buying Bitcoin at these prices, are you saying that this is a fair and good price to get in, or are you saying wait because you think it's going farther down?
Bitcoin is something you need to be long-term focused. I don't think anyone's going to lose money buying here at 90. If they're trying to time this, maybe they'll get lucky and it goes to 70. But to me, Bitcoin could be significantly higher this year, maybe 200, 250. So I think 90 is still a good entry point.
Okay, so you heard him. You heard the gentleman, Tom Lee. I agree with him. So we could come back to retracement. We could come back to November 5th, when the election was. Look at this, good people. I got it marked right here for you clearly to see. This is Tuesday, November 5th, 2024. That's when it took off. Where were we? We were right here at 69,000, so 70K. And it literally went up. And so what Tom Lee was clearly saying, before you panic and, jump out a window screaming, all right, this is literally a possibility for it to retrace and give back what I'm going to call the Trump trade, right? So it could come all the way back down. Is it most likely? Nah. But could it happen? Yes, it could happen. But you also heard him say that. So we literally at the top ran up 53%. And right now we are up from the 70K mark about 33%, right? And I'm glad I said that, right? What is the percentage of what I said we could pull back? I've constantly been saying we could pull back literally 30%. There you go, 33%. If we have a 30% pullback, we are right back at retracement, right back to where we were, Election day, Trump trade. You can't fight the data, good people, all right? You can't unsee this, okay? So also I agree with Mr. Tom Lee is that it's just an opportunity from here, from 92 all the way down to 70 is an opportunity for those of you that have not got in to get back in. And during this period, I would tell you guys personally, 90% of what I'm going to be buying is Bitcoin because I'm in my full positions in everything else. I have a ton of XRP. I have a ton of the meme coins, the Pepes and the bumps. I have a ton of all of that. And the altcoins, the links and all that. I have it. But I want more Bitcoin. And so this is another opportunity for me. All right. So let's listen to what he has to say about stock market.
Because as you know, we've been correcting now for almost a month, right? 23 trading days. And this Wednesday is an important day because it is a possible turning point for markets. And I would like to see CPI come in below, 0.25 or so. And I think that would give that jolt of confidence for markets on top of, I think, earnings, which is going to be a positive catalyst. But for investors in the near term, I think they got to ride out the volatility because I think yields here have made people nervous.
He said for investors to ride it out, it's going to be a thing. Remember, we went up 5% from the election up until where we are now. But For those of you that know, a correction is 10%. I'm talking about the S&P. Let's go on a little further with Tom Lee.
Hesitation we have is that the hurricanes last year have muddled some of the inflation quality because, for instance, hotel reservations would go up because of these natural disasters, and it's going to happen now with the LA fires, and I think it's going to muddle used car prices as well because you have to replace all these used cars.
So you think if they weren't muddled, that inflation isn't that big of a concern? And when you say a turning point in the markets, if we've been down for a month, turning point doesn't mean further weakness. You think we might be making a bottom this week?
Yes, our technician Mark Newton thinks 5,700 might be the turning point. It could happen Wednesday, so maybe 2% down from here, but that's really where the market could make a stand. I think if we could lift the cloud of some of this muddling, in fact, Waller last week even said most of the inflation last year was about imputed prices, meaning the real price of inflation was actually much lower. I think that is still the case. Inflation is weaker when you look at housing, et cetera. So once we can get through that noise. But investors, I think, shouldn't be too glum. I think earnings season is going to be something that really solidifies.
I agree. Investors shouldn't be too glum. I 100 wholeheartedly agree with Tom Lee, and not because he's Tom Lee, because everything I say and everything I've studied aligns exactly what he is. And his team is way smarter than me. They're way above my pay grade, but you can't unsee what clearly happened from the election to here with crypto and with the S&P. All right. So I'm calling this a Trump trade correction. All right. And so that's when things actually started to take off. Now, at the time of filming this, we could see that the S&P is down. Look at that, by 4 points. Right. The NASDAQ, big tech, is what's really getting hit. Is down. The Dow is actually up, but the NASDAQ, you could see the worst of this was right here. Today. That was the worst of it. Okay. So let's see here. There was a few other things I wanted to talk about. Oh yeah. So I want to tell you guys this. Remember, in times like this, instead of panicking, I want you to understand this. After you buy a stock, your job is to manage risk. Manage risk. This is what I've learned in 2007 in the Great in the Great Recession. So the recession actually started in 2007. It was from 2007 to 2010. The worst was 2008 for those of you like me that was in the market. After you buy a stock or crypto, your job is to manage risk. You don't lose until you sell. But in saying that, you should know when to take profit, like I did on some of the quantum computing stock, like I did with QUBT. And he says, Larry, if you believe in it, why did you sell it? Because it was time to take some profits. You should never, ever ask for permission to take profits. Taking profits often is good, especially if you've been losing. But I still believe in some of the stock that I am in that I actually took a little haircut on, right? And so it's just healthy. And right now, if you zoom out, this too shall pass. I believe in my heart of hearts that you're going to look back in the S&P and in stock like NVIDIA, that's at a 3-month low. All right, NVIDIA, we could see that NVIDIA is what? Look at that, 3-month low, good people. October. We're back to October 2024 prices with NVIDIA right now, okay? So it was down and I was coming up now, all right? But we were down today. Let's just go to the day, right? So at open, we were down as low as, you could see that, 130s, right? So if you go back and then you go back to the 130s, you could see we were way back to where we were in October, right? And so I'm not dumping money in there. I'm starting to what? DCA. And what else did you buy today, Larry? I alerted my stock club, my Money Moves club, that I was actually buying some MicroStrategy today. I'm also buying some MicroStrategy today because of the gap between Bitcoin and MicroStrategy. Now, if you can see where it is now, you can see that that is a double-digit move, right? This was down, as you can see further today. MicroStrategy was, but it's actually starting to regain a little bit, but it'll probably turn around. Now, MicroStrategy, I would not dump a lot of money in there because MicroStrategy could continue to drop if Bitcoin truly does a retracement to 70K. Follow? So it's going to go down. So in times like this, it's not a good thing to just spend all of your dry powder all in one dump. You need some time. All right, good people? Listen, good people, you can just check out the links below. I'm not going to show them to you. You got to stock up you. This is when you want to learn. And stock up you in the stock course and the crypto course. That's when you want to learn. And I officially launched my Money Moves stock course, my version of the Patreon, which is not a Patreon because I'm not spending all day answering questions. I'm actually spending all day feeding the family. All right. So that's Stock Up You. That's going to be the second link below. We'll see you tomorrow. Remember, research before you react. Don't panic. Don't believe the hype. Look at what's going on, and you will see that it is more opportunity. You should be looking for more opportunity than to be looking for fear. All right? We'll see you tomorrow. Live, love, laugh, and learn.